Hello, my name is Laia, and in this video I will present the final report of the course European Language Portfolio for Young Learners. This report has two main parts. I'm going to start talking about my self-reflection. Firstly, in relation to the learning outcomes of the course, I feel able to describe the structure and aims of the ELP, especially after having listened to Professor Little's lecture at the beginning of the course in Task 1. Before that, I had barely heard of the ELP and I had no idea what it was or what it was for. Thanks to that lecture, I was able to understand where the ELP comes from and its principles. Secondly, I also feel able to apply the tool. I have become aware of the importance of the pedagogical and documentative functions of the ELP, not only in the classroom context, but in the life of each individual, because languages are an intrinsic part of our world, not some decontextualized item in language lessons. I have also become aware of the importance of the ELP in the students' self-assessment so as to develop their self-regulation and learning to learn competences. This is key in their implication in the use of the ELP. Thirdly, tasks 3, 4, and 5 were key to me to bring the theory to practice. Especially in tasks 3 and 4, I became familiar with the documents that I have heard of, and by getting to work with them, I was able to see their potentialities. Finally, in task 5, I have been able to plan the beginning of the implementation of an ELP in a real-life context, which seemed like a huge challenge at the beginning of the course. Therefore, I believe I have achieved this learning outcome, although maybe not fully because we didn't get to implement our plan, unfortunately. Considering my progress during this course, I have identified my strengths and weaknesses. On the one hand, I have achieved all the learning outcomes of the course. I have understood the principles, objectives, and parts of the ELP. In addition, I plan on using it in my future teaching. I have come up with strategies to implement it and to motivate the users of the ELP. And finally, I can assess different versions of the ELP with my own theory-based criteria. On the other hand, I have not seen a real school implement the ELP, and I haven't yet implemented it myself into my own teaching, so I'm still at the theoretical level. Overall, considering both my strengths and weaknesses at the end of the course, I am extremely happy because I believe the strengths weigh more than the weaknesses, so the outcome of the course is very positive. Finally, considering my overall performance and growth, I can remember how at the beginning of the course I had no idea what the ELP was, so I felt extremely lost. I had so many questions such as how do teachers use the ELP? Or how does it benefit language education? Is the ELP even used in Spain? Because I had never heard of it before. Nevertheless, thanks to the course tasks, I feel my knowledge has grown a lot and I have been able to construct the idea of the ELP and integrate it into my previous knowledge about education. Therefore, I have been able to answer my initial questions. However, I'm sure I will face new questions when I implement the ELP within a few years into my own teaching. Overall, considering the 0 to 5 scale, I would give myself a 5 because I have achieved the learning outcomes of the course. I have given answers to all my questions from the beginning, and I'm extremely happy with my evolution in this course. Nevertheless, I still have a long way to go and a lot to learn when I implement the ELP. On the other hand, I will talk about the course evaluation, which is overall very satisfactory. The main fact that I take from this course is learning that the ELP is not a unique document that works for every person in every country. Instead, the ELP is more like a concept, a framework, established by some principles, objectives, and sections. This framework serves as a light for the creation of several ELP versions in each country, which are adapted to the age group. In addition, these are only resources, which means that schools and teachers can choose to use some parts or even adapt these parts to create an ELP that fits their school principles perfectly. With regards to my future self implementing the ELP, what I take from this course is that languages are an inherent part of our world, and therefore the ELP should not be restricted to class use only. Instead, the ELP is something related to the world. Consequently, in order for the ELP to reach all dimensions of the students' lives, it is essential to involve and establish a collaboration network between students, teachers, families, and the context, that is, the whole educational community, advocating for networking, discussion, self-reflection, and learning from each other's and the own experiences. As I have previously mentioned, my overall assessment of the course is extremely satisfactory, and there are many positive aspects about it. Nevertheless, there are 5 that are significantly positive for me. The teacher's help and support, both in face-to-face meetings and in the Moodle environment, the clear, explanatory, and intuitive structure of the Moodle, which is helpful for us learners to follow the course, the nice progression of the tasks, starting by conceptualizing the ELP and its origins, the global focus of the ELP course, which means that I can use what I learned not only in Finland, but also in any other country. And finally, the fact that we didn't stay at the theoretical level only. Finally, if I had to mention some improvements for the course, I would state 2. On the one hand, I would have liked to have some feedback along the process after each of the tasks that we have done, so that we can use it to continue learning and improve our future tasks. On the other hand, I felt a bit of uncertainty with task 3. I got to understand the part of creating our language password, but I did not understand the relation of creating our CV. Even though I loved getting to know the tool, I did not manage to see how it relates to the rest of the course, which might be because I misunderstood the task. Nevertheless, it was an overall great experience, and I'm very glad I have been enrolled in this course.